Welcome back, everybody. We are about to show this whole court what a cow on a plate looks like, because apparently no one caught it. No one catches anything except for me. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. One day we'll all have little computers in our pockets that can snap these at any moment. What's a computer? Never mind. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Bro, just get to the point, man. Do hurry up, rookie. What are you trying to say exactly? I agree with Scorpion for once. To inconvenience this poor lady any further would really be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer, if you don't mind, Miss Brett. She's pretty mean, pretty mad. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. Because... And the steak was at his side of the table, like no one's mentioning that. How?
Objection!
He's a waiter, he's seen that cow everywhere he went. He should know more than anyone. And he's a police officer. You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn? Let's see. Let's just down there. And precise precision was never my forte. Get to the photo parts. I had it earlier. Wait, I had it perfect earlier, and can I just click it? That's way better. My God, that's fine.
Yes. The
beefsteak. Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Ah. Oh! Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's in some sort of trademark of Le Carnival. Oh! The emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ah! Yunosuke, you're genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Excuse me. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good that they have followed the lines. But what does a burn at the restaurant have to do with being murdered? He didn't eat the steak. That's a big piece of evidence. Can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. Could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Aochi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hasanaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of Le Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. For someone who's like, precisely from the marks of that burn, I can tell it's been 3 seconds. It's like, bro, but you didn't notice the burn earlier. You've been looking at the photograph the whole time. But you're a detective, not a waiter.
Yes.
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hasanaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day, nor any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. The rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Yeah, we... Guys, move past the scream! Wouldn't you agree, Professor Ouchie? Well, yes, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe the burn happened after he died. We've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make it sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already dead. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible. If the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now is the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness. Oh, wait, so they're saying he was dead the whole time? Explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right, that's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie. It's you who has no grasp of the facts. Oh, maybe he was shot in the chest before. Then they did a weekend at Bernie situation. As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency, the justice system in our country may be its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. That smirk, that smile. Yes, of course. So she could speak Japanese the whole time. I mean, I'd be delighted to help, especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Ah, Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Fluently. Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Vulgar? Yo, you don't insult Japan like that. But it seems the men in this land possess none of chivalrous virtues of the English gentleman. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Then why even learn the language? You know what I mean? Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this. This lavish consideration you graciously afford us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting. Ryunosuke. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyways. Why are you dissing Japan? Don't diss Japan, especially in a court of Japan. That most captivating and beautifully testimony will go down in Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. Every testimony goes in Supreme Court's history. Let's just be real here. Hope that it's the last time I have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Why you gotta be so rude? Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone, yet you insulted me. Not at all, not at all. It's a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. But it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. What's up, Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Okay, now you're in for it. Amen. Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? The judge always warns Phoenix, right? Bro slapped himself. I should try that. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, Professor and I raised their glasses in the toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. To some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving trace, please do show me. This country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyways. Let's question that. Let's press on that a little bit. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. Le Carnival's open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Oh. He's got something to think about that. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try and preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? A killer blow. This lady's formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. Admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't quite seem quite right. What do you think, Rinosuke? Things going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony. Our cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Rinosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. Her hat. Oh, he's still coughing blood. Person standing next to her. Inspector Hasanaga. The detective? Yes. He seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. Wondering if it might be significant. If that might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. Find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Mrs. Brett on her last statement again. Okay, so let's do that.
Yes!
Crime scene, yes. Quite right. Yeah.
Wait.
Yes, there it is again. Ted's reaction just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in this train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now. Ryunosuke. Let's all do it with the witness marker. What marker? The 3 dots above his head. No. At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with AD, you can turn your attention to the other people in stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with space. This is new, by the way. I've never seen this in a game yet. If you can catch a person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. You ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand? Take a good look around. Alright then. So first I should move the marker across with AD and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with space and see what's on his mind. Thanks for the detailed explanation.
Wait. Excuse me.
Excuse me! That's a new one. Excuse me! That's me when I get past someone. Excuse me, sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
Objection!
He's not a witness, right? What's the meaning of this? It's the delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, the cross-examination will be over immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. That's true. Weak hands. Not to mention the fact he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hasanaga? Yes? Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. Oh, is this guy Gumshoe? The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Hasanaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. Is that why you kept and told everyone not to tell the truth earlier? My god. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touch a nerve there. Take this for example. Ooh, new evidence. Ooh, she's mad about that. We're gonna chase this down next time. I'll see you guys then. Bye, everyone.